Hi, my name's Kim. I'm an introvert that travels the world whilst being on a tight budget. Today we're going to be talking about something that's been in the news quite a lot recently. I mean, it's literally the only news, and that's COVID-19 or the coronavirus.
This is the story of how a virus we didn't even know existed 3 months ago has changed the way we live. COVID-19 has impacted life everywhere for billions of people, and it started here in China, in the city of Wuhan.
So, what is a coronavirus? Essentially, it's a virus that tends to live on animals but can be zoonotic, which means it can transfer to humans. The one that we're seeing at the moment, COVID-19, is the 7th of its kind to transfer from animal to human. This video has been quite a hard video to make because the virus has been so devastating all around the world. So many people are dying, but I'm here to talk to you more about the travel aspects of what it can do. So I started scripting this video maybe about a week and a half ago now, and the advice that I would have given a week and a half ago is completely different to the advice that I'm going to give today. Just to let you know, I'm recording, it's Saturday the 22nd of March? 21st of March? Last week or the week before, I would have advised to keep an eye on the World Health Organization website. Make sure when you're traveling to stay clean, wash your hands, you know, but keep traveling, just keep an eye on what's going on around the world. But that's not the advice I would give today. There's a lot more to this than, yeah, bye-bye, enjoy your holiday. A lot more to it. First of all, not all countries are getting the coronavirus as bad as others. Does this mean necessarily that it's safe to travel to them? No, because everything is happening so quickly. It could mean that somewhere where you've travelled to today could close down tomorrow. You could end up going somewhere and everything gets shut down. You could end up having to evacuate a country without much notice at all. Some countries aren't allowing in foreign citizens at all. So odds are, if you've got travel booked between those two dates, your flight will get cancelled. If I was in that situation, I would probably look at not rebooking again at least until September. I am hopeful that this will hopefully have died down a bit by then and places will be up and running again. I'm not the type of person to travel during the school holidays. I like to let people who are going on holidays with their children enjoy that time with their children. And for me to not enjoy it with their children, no offence to their children. We've been hearing that some members of society will be asked soon to isolate for up to 12 weeks. That's essentially 4 months. In 4 months' time, that's around September. That's another reason why I'd be looking at September, October time potentially. We may not be able to travel again in September, October, but in my mind, this is the most realistic time frame that I can see happening. There's no guarantees though. Travelling abroad at the moment isn't the best idea. Like I've already said, a lot of countries are closing their borders without much notice. And countries like Spain have even gone that step further, where they'll be looking at closing all of the hotels. So even if you do get to a country, you might not be able to actually stay anywhere. So if you do get stranded in one of those countries, you may not have anywhere to stay whilst you're stranded there. So you've decided to travel, whether it be by air, sea, road, bus, train. You've decided you're going to go. So what do you need to pack to make sure you stay safe? I would recommend antibacterial wipes, a little bag that you can bin things in, hand sanitizer. I've heard that surgical masks are more effective if you're the one that's sick. So if you want to stop the spread of the virus from yourself to others, but aren't such good if you want to stop other people giving you illness. Essentially in the little masks there's tiny little holes in it which can let little microscopic particles through it, so it can stop you sort of like sneezing stuff out a lot better than people sneezing things into you. That sounds disgusting, but it's the best way I can word it to get my point past. So you're going on a flight. What would I recommend you do? Before you sit down, take out your antibacterial wipes and wipe down everything, every surface. Make sure to wipe down your armrest, the table in front of you, anything that you can wipe down, make sure you give it a good wipe down with antibacterial wipes. Sanitize your hands. Put the little wipe that you've just wiped everything down before you sanitize your hands. Put the little wipe in a little baggie, seal it up, throw it away. If you decide you're going to get up and go to the toilet, wash your hands. Go back to your seat. Don't touch a thing. Hands up in the air if you got to. Just make sure you're not touching anything. Sit down, sanitize your hands just in case you touched anything. Do not touch your face. Don't touch your face. Coronavirus can live on surfaces anything from a few minutes or a few hours to a few days depending on the surface. So if you've got some cardboard, it can live on that up to 24 hours. If you've got a harder surface like a plastic or a metal, you're looking for up to 72 hours. So make sure that you protect yourself from those surfaces by giving them a wipe down with wipes. Anything you can do to cut down your likelihood of coming into contact with the virus is vital. You're going on a plane for a few hours and you're worried about the people around you making you sick. Most planes, apart from the very small ones or the much older ones, have a, and this is, I'm going to have to look at what this is called because I can't remember it. It is called a true high efficiency particle filters. So every plane will have them. The true high efficiency particle filters. Basically what that is, are filters that are on the plane that kind of suck in all of the air from the cabin, give it a clean, mix it with some fresh air from outside and then push it back out. And these filters do this 20 to 30 times an hour. These are the same sort of filters that they use in operating theatres and intensive care units. Basically what they do is they filter all of the bacteria and fungi and dust and viruses and keep it all in a sort of a filter to stop it coming back out again. The World Health Organization says that you're not at much of a risk of catching a communicable disease from an aeroplane. You're more likely to catch them on trains or buses. I've heard that essentially you're at more danger if you're kind of 2 seats around people away from somebody who's sick. If you're more of a distance than that, then you're at far less chance. But because of the air filtration system that happens on the planes, your air quality is a lot better than you're going to get on buses, in undergrounds, on trains. So if you're worried about that, don't worry so much. Going on a cruise ship comes with additional risk, be it from catching respiratory diseases or just stomach bugs. There's more of a risk, but the risk tends not to come from the guests passing sickness to each other, because usually there aren't many queues, people stay in their own cabins, you're not that close to people when you're on a cruise ship, you don't tend to like be squished up against people. The risk comes from the crew, because the crew work and live in such close quarters. They live in basically bunk quarters towards the bottom of the ship and they live closely packed. They work together, they sleep together, they bathe and they don't bathe together. They share bathrooms. So they sleep together, they work together, they share bathrooms. They're more likely to pass sickness between themselves. Because you might end up with the same crew that did the voyage last week on your voyage, then that's where the risks start getting heightened. You've got sick people mingling with other people and illness. Any situation that you are put in that gives you more of a risk of catching COVID-19 and passing it on to others just isn't worth doing at the moment. You could end up catching it being asymptomatic, going round your grandmother's house and giving it to your grandmother, or giving it to somebody else, you know? And you don't want to put yourself or other people in that situation if you can help it. Travelling by train or by bus to get to work could be seen as essential, and to a certain point travelling by plane to get back home again could be seen as essential travel too. But I can't see any situation at the moment where travelling by a cruise ship could be seen as essential. I understand that some people though still may need to travel by ship or by ferry. Some people live on islands and the only way to get there is by ferry, and in that case I would think about basically the same things that you'd do on a plane to keep yourself safe are the same things I'd recommend doing on a ferry. So wipe down all surfaces, keep yourself clean, try not to get into any contact with anybody, wash your hands, sanitize, all of that. The same for a ferry, same for any mode of transport. If you're out in public, do all of it. A lot of companies at the moment will be dialing back on the amount of public transport services that they'll be offering. These services aren't there for you to go out on a jolly shopping spree with you and 5 of your mates. They're there for key workers to be able to get to work. So do what's right at the moment and try and stay away from public transport. Let the people who have to go to work to help the country run get on the public transport. Try and stop that sort of distance that you are within people so that they're less likely to catch anything, because we need the people of the country. We need our doctors, nurses, retail workers, delivery drivers. All of those people need to stay healthy for us to keep the country still running. So do your bit by staying away from public transport and let them just get to work. Make sure you check before you travel as well, because the bus you normally catch to work might not be running anymore. I understand at the moment a lot of people's holidays and travel plans are getting affected and even cancelled, and at this time I would recommend people just change their dates. Try not to get a refund if you can help it. What it is companies need to have a sort of a pot of money to be able to still run their business, and they're having such massive losses at the moment with the planes they're having to cancel, hotels are having to cancel, everything's closing down, and the last thing they need is more money being taken out of that pot that they need to just sort of have a basic company running. So if you can, and I know it's not possible for everyone, I'd recommend changing your dates of anything that you have booked if you're offered to, rather than taking that refund. Give them a fighting chance of being able to get through this. At the end of the day, the travel industry employs so many people, and we want to try and keep those people in work, you know? Try and be kind, think beyond you, and try and help others to maintain their jobs and keep their jobs through this really tough time. If you're unsure whether to change your dates or to keep the ones that you have, get in contact with your travel company. Be aware though, if you do try and get in contact with them, you may be waiting for quite a while. Companies are having to scale back the amount of staff that they have working for them. Some people are working from home, so the wait times on the phone might be a while. Another thing you can do is a lot of companies are sort of giving it 2 or 3 weeks before you leave, before deciding on whether to sort of cancel the holiday or not. So you can always wait for the company to reach out to you. Make sure that COVID-19 is covered on your travel insurance. If you've recently bought a policy, then odds are, unfortunately, it may not be covered. But if you've got an older policy, it may be. If you've gone out and panic bought a policy very recently, they may have taken out any clauses to do with COVID-19 because of the unprecedented scale of it. Hopefully you've declared any pre-existing medical conditions on your travel insurance, which means that you may be able to get a refund for a trip that you can't do because you may be at extra risk of catching the virus or extra risk of being very ill from it. This is why I always recommend that you buy your travel insurance on the same day that you book your travel, if not before you've even booked your trip. This will essentially cover you for all possibilities. At the moment now, just be aware that if you do buy a new policy, you're probably not going to be covered by COVID-19, and I've heard a lot of people aren't even selling travel insurance policies anymore, so you may even find it difficult to even get travel insurance at the moment. It's not just the physical travel companies that are suffering at the moment, but digital content creators are also having a tough time of it. With less people travelling, less people are consuming content that relates to travel. So your favourite Instagram person or your favourite YouTuber may not be getting as many views as they normally do. I've seen this true on my channel, for example. I'm getting a lot less views than I normally do. Especially with my Greek ones from last year, I get a lot of views of people who are excited to go to Greece and they're like, oh yeah, I really want to see what Greece is like, I want to watch the videos, but people aren't going to Greece at the moment, so people aren't watching my videos, which is fine for me because I don't earn any money from my videos. I'm kind of lucky, I guess, in that respect, whereas if I get less viewers, it's just like, you know, my ego, I guess. But some people, it's their livelihood. They get AdSense from the videos that you watch, and with less people watching the videos, they get less money. And it's a kind of a ripple effect. It's not just the physical travel industry that gets hit by this. It's like all the people you don't even think about, they get hit by it too. So what I'm going to ask you to do is, in the comments down below, if you have any favourite travel YouTubers that you want to help support, put their names down there so we can all go have a look and have a watch, and maybe we'll find out a new favourite travel YouTuber there. Yeah, so comment down below your favourite travel YouTubers. I'd really like to have a nose at some anyway. You know, we can watch the videos, give them some more views, and hopefully, you know, it's not such a struggle for them in the next couple of months. I know it's a really tough time at the moment. A lot of people have holidays booked and they don't know what to do. And just to let you know, I'm in the same situation as you. I have travel booked for next month and the month after, and it's hard to decide what to do. Obviously, at the moment, the best idea is just not to travel. But how long are we being advised not to travel for? I'm meant to be going to Poland next month. The Polish border's closed. It's meant to reopen before I go there, but then will our border still be closed? It's really hard to know what to do. I'm meant to be going to Greece in May, and at the moment I'm really happy for the island of Rhodes because they don't have any people with the virus on the island, and I really hope that continues for them, and that's where I'm planning on going, is Rhodes. But then I wouldn't want to be one of the people who's asymptomatic, who goes to the island and then ends up being like, you know, essentially the person that brings it to the island. It's hard to know what to do because at the end of the day, you're not just thinking about your own trip, you're thinking about other people's livelihoods and, you know, do I go to the island to help support the economy, or do I stay away to not spread the virus? It's hard to know what to do. I know it's hard. We're probably going to be looking at delaying all the travel, I think, for the foreseeable future, which is, it's sad. It is. It breaks my heart, if I'm honest. I like traveling so much. It's such a massive part of me is being having the ability to go explore things, and not being able to do that at the moment is really sad. But this is 2020 and this is what we gotta do to try and save people, and if that involves us having to stay in the house and talk to the cats for a bit, it is what it is. I don't know what else to say beyond that. Like, the good part of all of this though is, if we are going to like see positive things from this, is that because people aren't travelling so much and because industry shut down a bit, the world is kind of healing from some of the carbon emissions that we pumped up out of it. I've seen like graphs and pictures of places that have been like highly polluted before, and the pollution is like clearing, and you're getting animals that have had to stay away from areas because of this sort of mass humans, just being humans there. The animals are like slowly coming back into areas that haven't been there before because the humans aren't out so much, and you know that there's really positive things that are coming from it, that, you know, the slow healing of the planet because we're not throwing so much pollution in it. So that's the end of my video today. I don't know what to say. It's been a bit of a sort of an up and down one. It is a really sad situation, and it's going to be a hard time for a lot of us for a long time, but you know, there are good things that can come out of it. A lot of people are staying home and they're learning new skills, they're working from home, which is putting out less pollution. Me personally, I'll probably be staying home for quite a while now because the work that I do involves a lot of customer contact, and if you're having to stay away from people, it's hard to deal with clients when you can't be by people. My goal is to try and focus a lot more on YouTube, and even though you won't be seeing as much travel content from me, I have a few sort of travel videos still to come out, but beyond that, I'm not going anywhere. So it'll be a lot of like me talking to the camera and teaching you more about travel. And I know we're not traveling at the moment, but if there's anything that you want to know more about travel wise, because I've done a lot of travel, and odds are if you've got a question about it, I've probably done it. Let me know in the comments below, and I can see if I can answer it, because I've got almost an abundance of time, too much time. So I'll try my best to help you the best I can during this time of me doing nothing apart from eating biscuits and talking to cats. Yeah, I'll finish the video here, so I hope you enjoyed. See you again. Enjoy your life. Ta-da!